Yokoso, 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 arigato gozaimasu. Yes, yes, yes. Welcome to the Stadia Monday Night Chat, the show where we discuss all things Stadia. I'm your host, of course, Clive Illenden, and tonight, ladies and gentlemen, tonight on the show, rumours Ubisoft is working on a new battle royale. Is there a chance we might see a Lego game on Stadia? Plus all the Stadia news and much, much more, of course. But before all that, don't forget to say hello in the chat. You know, it is the Stadia Monday Night Chat after all. And you, ladies and gentlemen, yes, you, even the ones just listening, yeah? Not watching, but listening, yeah? Even you are very much part of the show because of the chat. Of course, before you forget, hit the likes as I like it. YouTube likes it, and it helps more beautiful, lovely, intelligent Stadians like yourselves find great content like this. And for those of you that are new, or those of you that regularly watch and haven't yet subscribed, bruh, come on, man. Hit that subscribe button, toggle that notification bell, so you know when I go live with Stadia content like this, ladies and gentlemen, yeah? Hit the bell. Toggle the note. Yes, you know what to do, ladies and gentlemen. You know what to do. Anyway, so as ever, special shout out to my channel members. Thank you for your continued support. I have something very, very special for you tomorrow. Exclusive for members only. Yeah. Fans only. Only fans page. No. Exclusive for members. An interview that I did with Sunny Cloud Gaming. I've not shown it before. So an interview I did with Sunny Cloud Gaming. So look out for that. If you're interested, you can join down there. Memberships start at a very reasonable $1, I believe. So anyway, let me know what games you've been playing. Have you been diving into World War Z? What are your thoughts? And all of that, of course, put it in the chat. Share, you know. Share it. And we're a sharing group here, you know, share amongst friends and all that kind of stuff. Right. Time to check out the mosh pit at the front of the stage and say hello to the early birds of Stadia Monday Night Chat as I stage dive into you lot that are in the chat first and foremost. Let's have a look at who's in there, ladies and gentlemen. Straight in at the top there. Victor, lovely to see you, Victor. As ever, Mr. Bayram Plays, how are you? 2bag313, hey guys. Liam said, no, I was in listening mode. Yeah, I'm in listening mode, that's good. Nick's hopes for some Elden Ring news. Keep hoping. I don't think it coming. But, you know, we live in hope. We live in hope. Inled, how are you? Case Ball, hey David, how are you? Good to see you. Mike there, hello. To lovely Mike there, of course. Yeah, I did say bruh. Yeah, I've been spending too much time with my son. Bruh. Yeah, I did indeed. You know, I'm down with the kids. You know, I'm down with the kids. Yeah. I can't see. Hello, how are you there? Good to see you. Andrew. World War Z have crossplay yet? No. Sadly, no. We'll touch on that a little bit later. Don't worry about that. Jerome there. Yes. Ever the supporter. Yes, indeed. Hit the likes and all of that. Blue Fire Demon. Good to see you. I can't see has been playing Slay the Spire and Neon Abyss. I'm not familiar with those games, to be honest. Been getting into Judgment, great game. I must finish Judgment. Judgment is one of my unfinished games, ladies and gentlemen. I need to get into that. I have been playing World War Z, Quelle Surprise, a lot of World War Z. I'm just making my way through the campaign. So I've not really dived into the PvP, to be honest. Don't tell you. I didn't realize it was PvP. I've just been doing the campaign and loving it. I mean, there's something very satisfying when you it's quite intense when there's like crowds and crowds of zombies coming at you and they're like, you know, swarming like rats. But very satisfying when You blow them all up or you mow them all down or whatever. Very, very satisfying. Which I guess is what the point of the game is. It gives you that little kind of crazy pleasure of mass destruction and all of that kind of stuff. But I think it looks really good. But more on that later. It's going to be in the news. Don't worry about that. Anyway, but yeah, I need to definitely check out the PvP side of it. That's what some people are saying in chat. So there we go. Right. So that's really all I've been playing is World War Z. It's quite easy just to drop in, and because the chapters aren't that long, or the campaigns, each chapter or each level, there's 3 sort of levels within each chapter. They're not that long really. So which I quite like as well. So you can sort of dip into it and then come back a bit later. So good. But I will get on to the PvP, ladies and gentlemen. Right. Shall we get on with the show? Shall we get on with the show? Shall we get on with the show? Yeah, why not? Let's get on with the show. I think it's time, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's time that we go over the news, over to the news desk with Clive. So, Clive, you ready? Yeah? It's over to Clive at the news desk. Thanks, Clive. Here's the Stadia news from the past week. World War Z Aftermath finally landed on Stadia last week, sadly missing the crossplay that was originally promised, with no indication whether it's actually coming or not. However, the game looks and plays great, and to be honest, I've been playing through the co-op campaign mode, and I'm fine with a combo of bots and random people, but I get how people are disappointed with not having crossplay, something that Stadia can acutely feel the lack of in many games. However, for me, the game is hella fun, and it's very satisfying when you're mowing down hundreds of zombies. So if you haven't played it yet, then I highly recommend. And if you don't have Pro, or even if you're not signed up to Stadia, then great news, as this week Stadia also revealed there's a 60-minute World War Z Aftermath free trial, along with a free trial for 2 other games. So, as promised at the Google for Games Developer Conference, we're seeing more and more of these awesome free trials, with importantly, no sign up, no costs, no need for a Stadia account. You just click and play. The new trials include, as mentioned, World War Z for 60 minutes, Humankind, which gets a 120-minute free trial, and Super Animal Royale with a 60-minute trial. So, just to reiterate, no account is needed. You just click and play. It's brilliant. Talking of free trials, in anticipation of the High Isle chapter coming to Elder Scrolls Online, you can also play the game at no additional cost between the 13th and 26th of April. So there's never been a better time to visit Tamriel. PUBG now, and PUBG, which is also free to play on Stadia, has a crazy short-term feature. And in this one, the chicken gets its revenge with the Monster Chicken Royale. Yes, get hunted down by a giant chicken. And why not? Until April the 19th, you can partake in Monster Chicken Royale, where, to earn that winner-winner chicken monster dinner, it's all very simple. You either make the monster chicken HP hit 0, or, like usual, be the last one standing by eliminating every other player on the battlegrounds. Project Z now, and developers of the game, Project Z, have promised to add crossplay between Steam and Stadia from day one. Now, Project Z is a free-to-play first-person shooter set in a World War II zombie scenario on a secret German island. The game focuses around the Project Z, a project run by the Nazis to turn zombies, which have been discovered on the island earlier, into weapons to turn the war around in Nazi Germany's favour. Now, this game is being funded by Kickstarter, so make sure you've registered to be notified when it goes live. Rumour time now, and Ubisoft is rumoured now, based on a leak, to be working on a new PvPvE shooter, said to be similar to the not-so-successful Hyperscape. This leak has been reported by Exputer.com blog, and the project is called Pathfinder. And word is it has a very similar look to Hyperscape. Exputer states that the leaks that they've seen suggest that Pathfinder is a different take on the Battle Royale, where a team of 4 players will drop into the map, find their path towards the centre to fight the main AI boss. Players need to navigate their way through two walls, an outer wall and an inner wall, with a series of gates around them that can be breachable. The catch? Different gates are breachable or locked every single game, making each game different in terms of the path you need to navigate. Hence, Pathfinder. It's still very, very early in development, so if these leaks and rumours are true, it may be some time before we see it. But being an Ubisoft game, if it is true, we should be seeing it on Stadia, so look out for that one. Could we also be seeing Black Myth Wukong on Stadia? A recent announcement by the developers in a Q&A session, when asked what platforms Wukong prepares to launch, replied, PC and other mainstream consoles, cloud gaming platforms capable of running the game smoothly are also being considered. So, not 100% guaranteed for Stadia, but by the looks of things, they are exploring cloud. So, this could be promising. Orcs Must Die gets a new DLC called Tipping Scales, and that's available right now in the Stadia store. You get 5 new maps, including a war scenario, a new desert biome, the new Tuatara race, new gear, new skins, and loads more. There's also a free patch for all today with new endless maps, new scramble buffs, debuffs, and lots of fixes. So now is a great time to go back and play Orcs Must Die if you've sort of neglected it or if you've never even tried it before. Talking of DLC, there's a new free DLC case for the Darkside Detective, A Fumble in the Dark. And this one's called One Flew into the Cuckoo's Nest, and it's releasing on April the 14th. So look out for that one. Clockwork Origins, developer of Elemental War 2 that's coming to Stadia, a tower defense game, has an update on progress. And it looks like they're on target to hit that May the 6th launch on Stadia. In a recent progress report update, they stated Elemental War 2 passed certification on all platforms. That means the release date on May the 6th is safe. So you'll be able to play Elemental War 2 then on Steam, Humble Store, Stadia, and all the Xbox and PlayStations, etc. And that's the Stadia news for this week. So back to Clive in the Stadia Monday Night Chat studio. Clive, over to you. Well, thanks for that, Clive. Much appreciated. Anyway, so let me know what you think. Would you like to see a new Ubisoft Battle Royale? That sounds quite exciting to me. Let me know what you think about that. Put that in the chat as well. And Black Myth Wukong as well. Now, when that was first trailered, those familiar with the game, if you're not familiar with the game, it was sort of a very early version of it was trailed a long time ago, more of a sort of a demo really, by a Chinese developer and probably over a year ago. And it looked amazing. And of course, you know, at the time, people going, I hope this comes to Stadia. I hope this comes to Stadia. Well, it's interesting that they do seem to be pursuing a cloud gaming strategy. So let's hope, because it does look a great game, let's hope that that is a game that comes to Stadia. Let me know what you think. And while we're on the speculation tip, ladies and gentlemen, while we're on a speculation tip, how about a Lego game on Stadia? Oh, yeah. You know, as a former Lego employee and just a fanboy of Lego as well, I work for Lego, fanboy of Lego, love it. This would be particularly pleasing to me. Now, I'm not talking the new Lego Star Wars sort of Skywalker saga. I'm not talking that, which of course would be awesome on Stadia. Not sure it's going to come, or certainly not come very soon. No, I'm talking about a different Lego game that on the balance of probabilities stands, I think, a better chance of being a Lego game that comes to Stadia. And it's this game, ladies and gentlemen. I will share it with you here. It is this game from Thunderful. Now, obviously, the reason I think this could have a chance of coming to Stadia is it's from Thunderful Games. And Thunderful Games have brought us a number of games to Stadia. including the Steam World games and some other. We click on their games. Well, in fact, let's just click on the trailer here. It's basically a virtual brick building game. I remember when I was at Lego a long time ago, they talked about these sort of things. There we go. You know, how could we kind of bring Lego, you know, into the digital world, into the virtual world and stuff like that. So they were always exploring that, you know, separate from the sort of, you know, Lego Star Wars stuff and stuff like that. So this one, it seems that you can, you know, you sort of build your way out of, build your solutions, as it were, to problems, you know, fix things, find there's a little bit here where he finds parts of an aircraft and builds a new aircraft, you know, and you can see there's a sort of a building mechanism mechanic in the game here, and all of that. So as I say, it's from Thunderful Games, and Thunderful have a relationship with Stadia. They bought games to Stadia. They're effectively a smaller publisher, indie, and we know that Stadia have a kind of good relationship with those sort of publishers. So it would be a good fit for Stadia as well, in terms of that sort of family games and kids games as well, plus the big kids in me, like, you know, that love Lego. So I could see this coming to Stadia. So this is only a rumor, it's only speculation on my part, but it is on the basis that Thunderful are a publisher, who have bought games to Stadia. Not all games. There's plenty of games here that they, you know, haven't bought to Stadia. And the game itself isn't scheduled. So this is not down for Xbox or PlayStation. At the moment, it's just Steam. But I think there's potential for it to, you know, come to Lego, especially with the new low change, you know, porting and stuff. But anyway, Wavetail. So Wavetail, of course, that was a mini exclusive. So we know the relationship is there. The SteamWorld games were older games that came to Stadia. One of sort of early doors were Stadia Pro titles and stuff like that. The SteamWorld Quest and all of the 3 SteamWorld games. So anyway, again, purely speculation on my part. Let me know in the studio. Let me. What are you talking about, Clark? Let me know in the chat. In the fucking studio. Let me know in the chat. I'm in the studio. You're in the chat. Whether you think this game would be a good fit. Whether you'd like to see the game on a Lego game on Stadia. I mean, obviously, I'd love to see the Lego Star Wars games on Stadia, of course. But as I say, I think this has more chance. Maybe we can, you know, being a sort of small publisher or a smaller publisher and stuff, maybe we can lobby them. Yeah, maybe we should start lobbying them to bring the game to Stadia, show there's enough kind of support and appetite for it and all of that. But there we go. Lego Builder, Brick Tales for Stadia. Yeah, I'm calling it now. Now, ladies and gentlemen, talking of rumors, how about, let's go back here, a slightly more, probably more certain rumor. I'm going the wrong way on my thingy here. So more, not confirmed, but this rumor is being sparked by the developer themselves. So a different one here. Other rumors, as I say, although more than likely, as I say, as not being a rumor, as this is being fueled by the Stadia-friendly publisher that is, in fact, ladies and gentlemen, Outright Games. And what am I talking about? Are there any fans of Star Trek out there, ladies and gentlemen? Any fans of Star Trek? Let's see what Outright Games have been saying about the Star Trek game. So they are bringing out Star Trek Prodigy, which I believe is an animated series, you know, sort of kid series based on Star Trek or some, based on the sort of Star Trek canon and stuff like that. And Here we are. That's what it looks like. Star Trek Prodigy Supernova. Yeah, coming soon. Brandon here. Would love to see this on Google Stadia. Wink. And of course, here's Outright Games with their response. Hopefully, you will see the hashtag Stadia logo on that poster soon. Working to make it happen. Thanks for your interest. I didn't even heart that now. Heart that. I've hearted it now. Yeah, I've hearted that. I've hearted that. So look, most Outright Games come to Stadia. So it is it's a shoe-in, I'd say. Yeah. I'd say it's a shoe-in that Star Trek Prodigy, so it's based on the Nickelodeon animation, Star Trek Prodigy is coming to Stadia. So look out for that. That rumor, ladies and gentlemen, that rumor is being fueled by the publisher themselves. So, yeah, look out for that one coming very, very soon. And it seems, so in other news, it seems that the developers of Everspace have developed a 4K 60 frames per second version of the game for Stadia. Okay. And there's a bit of a brouhaha, nice word there, from Lilliput. Not Lilliput. What am I thinking? Anyway, it doesn't matter where brouhaha comes from. We're not here for a literature. Gulliver Tales, brouhaha. That's where that comes from, isn't it? Anyway, that's not what we're here to discuss. We're here to discuss the brouhaha with Everspace 2, or Everspace game here. And they tweeted out here, a bit passive-aggressive here, Everspace 2 game, Everspace game, we've invested extra time in further Stadia optimization and submitted a 4K 60 version months ago, and it's been sitting in certification limbo, not matching Stadia's high requirements. So Stadia themselves have talked about the certification process and have been honest that it has been an issue for them before. But here's a developer saying they've had the 4K 60 version of a game optimized. So they've gone back and optimized the game after publishing it on Stadia, which in itself is good to see, constant improvement. But it's been stuck in Stadia certification limbo, according to the developer. Cue Reddit to say that this is representative of all Stadia issues. But come on, ladies and gentlemen, one lark does not a summer make. However, it could be, it is an issue that Stadia themselves, even here, they sort of have been working on the improvements in certification that they published. Ryan Bartlett from Stadia talked about this in two sort of conferences, but specifically talked about it at the Google for Games one. So, but fear not, ladies and gentlemen, right? So this brouhaha is going on. Fear not, ladies and gentlemen, because it seems Stadia is on it. Stadia staff read Twitter. They're live on Twitter, just like you and me. And it seems the issue has moved on a bit further. And the ball, at the time of me writing this, I think it's moved on even more now, is back with the developer. So there was another tweet here from a guy called Basil Sabah. Yeah, Basil Sabah. I probably mangled his name, but apologies. Who is Basil Sabah, you say? Well, Basil Sabah is a product manager at Google Stadia, and he saw this brouhaha going on, and it was raised by Lee here from Stadia Source, and Lee makes a very good point, really. Stadia is a baffling thing at times, and it is. It can be frustrating if you're a follower of Stadia. You can get annoyed and angry about it and go on Reddit and moan and shout, or you can just be baffled about it. or try to look into it or whatever, or you can just be reasonable about it and make observations and fair criticism and, in a nice, decent way. And I think, Lee is making a very valid point here that, Stadia is baffling at times. On one hand, they seem ready to support developers, and we've seen that, right? So that's good. Yeah, he's being balanced here. Not that I'm here to sort of, do a critique of Lee's tweet. Then they do things such as this. Someone from Stadia team really needs to get on the top of things like this and get the entire team working from the same page. That's not unreasonable observation from the outside. We don't have all the information to make. Anyway, Basil Sabar here, who is Google product manager, you see here, product manager at Google Stadia, just as a private individual, picked up on this and says our certification team has phenomenal people, but I'll help look into this. And then updated on this, certification is currently awaiting feedback from the great folks at Everspace. At Everspace Games, if you need any help with this, DM me directly. So this all came about from a tweet from Lee at Stadia Source, observing that it seems baffling on one hand that Stadia seemed to be really helpful, and then we hear these certification nightmares. So you see what happens when you ask nicely or you make a valid and sensible point. So shout out to Lee of Stadia Source for raising the issue in a perfectly reasonable manner, and a double shout out to Bazel of Stadia for going above and beyond, quite frankly. But when it comes to any certification issues for developers, and you'll see all the moaning on Reddit, forget about that. Stadia is fully aware that the process could be easier at their end. They know this because they put their hands up about it and they're working on it. Hence, they had a whole talk at the Google for Games Developer Conference, as I mentioned, by Brian Bartley, another Stadia product manager, you will remember. And, he talked about the issues around certification in his Playtesting Made Easy on Stadia seminar. And previous to this, at a different seminar, he'd mentioned they'd made changes. They'd reduced the amount of certification sort of layers that needed to go through. And, excuse the use of the word I'm going to use. There's no... but there is a lag on Stadia. I don't mean, oh my God, Stadia lagging. Clive says Stadia lags. No, I meant there's a lag between the new changes that they're implementing and the improvements that they talk about, and us seeing it at the consumer end. So, as Ryan Bartlett here, Google Stadia product manager, says, they've already improved the certification process and hopefully will improve it more. And because of that, hopefully developers will feel more inclined, because they're saying, not that, they'll kind of think, oh God, I don't really want to put another version of my game in. I've optimized it, but what's the point? We're going to be stuck in certification hell. Well, Stadia are trying to improve that. So hopefully developers will be more inclined to submit optimized versions of their games into Stadia. But anyway, it does seem, though, in fairness, Everspace, since I originally was looked into this, Everspace did come back and said it's a bit more complicated, and then said here, there's been quite some back and forth, just double checked with our engineers what the latest issues were. Please follow us so we can DM you or drop us an email. So this is to Basil. So conversation is taking place. So hopefully they'll get it sorted. The Google product managers, Stadia product managers, aware of the issue and putting some attention on it. So hopefully we will see Everspace 4K 60 frames per second optimized version soon. So anyway, watch this space. Okay, then, ladies and gentlemen, we've talked about on this show how cloud gaming is in its very early stages as gaming market. You know, people, bat about, it's 1% market, a 2% business or whatever, but it will grow and it will be a significant part of gaming over the next few years. I've talked about that. Loads of different people have talked about that. Well, it seems that the gaming industry analysts, actual highly paid gaming industry analysts, no, not Dave down the pub who happens to have a YouTube channel. Oh, no. But highly paid industry analysts who know what they're talking about, Newzoo, okay? You have to pay for their reports. You can't just get their reports free. They don't just publish them on a blog for free. You have to pay because they're consultants, basically, to the gaming industry and other industries. But Newzoo have revealed some new data and market size predictions for cloud gaming. And some of that was shared and published in Gaming Industry Biz. So here we go. Let's have a look at this. Cloud gaming generated almost $1.5 billion in 2021. $1.5 billion in 2021. So that's a lot of money from the just 12 of us. Yeah. If we were honest. Let me just get rid of that a minute. A new report shared that the number generated by the 21.7 million paying users across cloud gaming services. So that's, that's, well, I'll show you what they mean. It's quite a lot. It's not just Stadia, Luna, GeForce Now, xCloud, or whatever, PlayStation Now. It's a lot of other things, and I'll show you what's wrapped up in that cloud gaming. But 21.7 million paying users across cloud gaming services. So, forget about normal gaming. We're just concentrating on cloud gaming. So we know that Stadia is a significant part of that overall specific cloud gaming market that we're talking about. And so it must have a reasonable share of this 21.7 million paying users across cloud gaming services throughout 2021. The figure itself is more than double the 671 million made in cloud revenue in 2020. Well, that makes a lot more sense. More cloud gaming services have come on board. More people are getting into cloud gaming, etc., etc. And it predicts that the number will continue to grow, so it will be an upward curve, hitting $6.3 billion by 2024. Now, the interesting thing for me here, what's interesting for me is the impact of cloud gaming from built-in smart TV apps like LG and Samsung. This is where I see the real growth and appeal of cloud gaming. Once people begin to discover this, discover cloud gaming, how easy it is to access on their smart TVs and stuff like that, this is where the real growth is. And hey, that's just not me. Highly paid gaming executives and consultants are saying the same. The firm highlighted several instances of cloud gaming heading to TVs via partnerships, notably Samsung and LG's collaboration with NVIDIA. Interesting they mentioned Stadia, but also Stadia as well, being available on those platforms. And it also goes on to mention, of course, that Xbox, PlayStation have also bolstered their cloud gaming efforts this year. And so who are these people apart from the companies that we already know? So somebody published here a very useful picture from that report, that specific report. And you'll see here, this is where that 21.7 million paid users, 21.7 million paid users are doing cloud gaming. And as you can see, it's quite a lot of areas. So you've got here, in the middle here, you've got Game Pass, Luna, Stadia, Tencent, of course, Facebook Gaming, Black Nut, Parsec, GeForce Now, Shadow up here, Apple Arcade, Ubisoft Plus. Well, these ones on the outside are content services like Game Pass, Game Loft, Switch Online, EA Play. So they're the services. The platforms are over here, Shadow, Paperspace. I don't know Paperspace, GeForce Now, Polystream. And then in the middle of the Venn diagram, content services and cloud gaming platform. You've got, I've seen this chart before. You've got Game Pass, Luna, and Stadia. So Stadia's in the middle of that Venn diagram, in the Venn bit of the Venn diagram. But there we go. So lots of kind of some names you might recognize there, and names you might not recognize. Anyway, but those are the companies that are driving the growth. And we know that, Xbox Games Pass, so xCloud, Luna, Stadia, even though Luna's just in the US, PlayStation Now. In the West, at least, these are the big names, Tencent and a few those other NetEase and stuff like that. And there's a few Chinese and Korean names here, obviously more familiar in Asia Pacific. But we know that Stadia, is going to have a chunk of that 21.7 million. And it's a little bit more than just the 12 of us. Anyway, I just found that particularly interesting. And as I say, this is industry analysts saying the cloud gaming, as predicted, is all on an upward trend. So it's all good stuff. It's a slow burner. It describes it as being 3% of the market. So we talked about it, 1%, about 2 years ago. It's 2%, then it was a 2% market. Now it's a 3% market. So slowly but surely growing. So it all sounds good to me, ladies and gentlemen. It all sounds good to me. And that, ladies and gentlemen, sounds like a good chat topic. Yeah. So let me know your thoughts in the chat while I check out what you've been saying, because, ladies and gentlemen, it's chat time. Let's find out what you lot have been saying in the chat. Okay, let's go to the top. Ray is driving and listening. Drive safely there, Ray. World War Z is pretty good deathmatch. I just have checked that. I have not played, Andrew, I've not played Disco Elysium. It's one of the many titles, on my back catalogue. Mike, I'm not sure where I am, what chapter I'm on. I so love that game. Do you know what I love about Judgment? Going to get something to eat. I love going, and it makes me want to go to Tokyo. Is Yoshida in the chat today? Fingers crossed. All things being equal, maybe I'll go and live out my Judgment fantasy in Tokyo. Maybe this year. Who knows? Fingers crossed. Watch this space. Jerome's really into Judgment. Doesn't want it to end. Blue Fire Demon. Maybe. CDPR is hiring for Cyberpunk multiplayer. Yes. I also saw there was a tweet today, and I didn't have time to put it in the show, but there was a tweet where the CD Projekt Red, one of the developers from Cyberpunk, was doing a talk and said that they were working on a number of expansions. So, confirmed basically that expansions were coming and they were working on them. So, watch this space. So that may be related to that. So I think Cyberpunk's going to be a bit like The Witcher. It's going to just grow and grow, and it'll be around for a while. And it's still, I've still not finished that game. I am stuck at a certain point. It's quite hard. I find Cyberpunk quite hard, to be honest. I mean, I love it. There's some easy bits, but then there's some boss levels I find quite difficult. 20 mins World War Z every 3 days, so nobody's getting paid for that sucker. Well, that's not fair. Come on, you've got to stick in the game a bit longer so they get their share of the Stadia Pro pot. Saber. Spire is a roguelike card game, and Neon Abyss is a roguelike twin stick shooter. Okay. Thank you, I can't see. Thank you for letting us know. Torres the listener, forever listening. Wow, so Jerome stopped orcs because of the seemingly impossible late scenarios. Now, I played orcs with my son, and I can't for the life of me work out how I played because it hasn't got a co-op mode, like a couch co-op mode, has it? Well, I couldn't find it, and I couldn't work out how, because I can't play 2 sessions of Stadia at one time in the house, but I definitely played with him. Orcs. Anyway, I must go back to that game. Hey, John, how are you, sir? Good to see you. Why don't Ubisoft try a MOBA like Pokemon Unite instead of Battle Royales? They're a non-on console except Smite. Yeah, it's interesting. And, you know, people write off the Battle Royales, don't they? They get a bit... I mean, even about maybe 18 months ago, people were saying, you know, I'm up to the high teeth in Battle Royales. It's old stuff. But, I think if you can get it right, if you can get an interesting twist on the game, then, you know, I'm all for it. But equally, you can get it wrong. I think in Hyperscape, Ubisoft thought, yeah, we've got the next best thing. But Hyperscape, to me, from the get-go, seemed like a game designed by committee. Whereas Apex Legends, which would be great on Stadia if it ever came to Stadia, they got it right. You know, they looked at what worked and looked at what they could add. And it seemed to make sense and it seemed to work. And I loved Apex Legends. You know, they took a look at what worked on Fortnite and PUBG and things like that, added their own kind of twist on it, added a few elements which subsequently Battle Royales have kind of nicked their ideas, like especially the communication kind of stuff and all that sort of the pinging of, enemy over there, weapons over there, all that kind of stuff nicked. Reviving Fortnite nicked that. But Hyperscape didn't seem to quite get it right, and it did feel like a game designed by committee. Hats off to Ubisoft going back to the whiteboard and trying again. But we know we've got the Ghost Recon Frontline, we've got X Defiant. So we know we've got some good shooters and PvP games coming from Ubisoft. So it'll be interesting. They are. They always had a lot of great humor. And that's where they appeal. Like, your kids can play them, but also there's a whole nostalgia tip when you're playing with Lego, especially for me. I mean, I was such a massive fan of Lego growing up, and even as a kid, and so it was a dream come true to work for Lego. Yeah. I'd love Assassin's Creed. Yeah. Don't give Ubisoft ideas. Oh my gosh, Mr. Bayram. Lego Builder's Quest. Yeah, it could be. I had Lego World, which was their a Lego attempt at like a Minecraft, but it seemed a bit more complicated than Minecraft. But it's the same idea that you could just build. You had an infinite sandbox. But there we go. Stadia kids are Duplo kids, aren't we? Brick builders. Oh, Wavetail could be a good multiplayer sport-like game. You could have races. They could turn. Imagine that. You could have with different ramps and loops. Off if you sort of you've got the skill to go up a particular rail. you might get extra time, but it's more tricky. You need more skill to pull it off. Or you can take the longer route, which takes less skill, but there's less chance of you kind of bailing in the water, whatever. That would be a good idea. A wave-tail race game, if that's what you meant. Windstar, how are you, sir? Oh, Battle Royale not always focused on shooting. Well, of course, there is that Battle Royale, oddly enough, from Ubisoft, which is not on Stadia. And maybe it's... I know, I'm not sure why. I can't remember. Somebody in the chat will be able to tell me what's the game. You know, it's like a sword fighting game, a battle royale, but with swords instead of guns and stuff. My brain's gone blank. Anyway, from Ubisoft, it's about the only, you know, game from Ubisoft that's not tied to a, you know, exclusive console that's not on Stadia. But anyway, Nick's. Yeah, it would be great to see. Of course it would. We're not denying that. There are melee combat battle royales like Naraka Breakpoint. And there was another one. Yeah, there are a few, I remember, quite, you know, sort of knockoffs. There was a whole period when, like there were so many knockoff battle royales. But there's been a few combat ones with swords and stuff like that. And sort of melee weapons. I used to play I've got the Batman Lego games. Yeah, I used to play the and you could play as a Joker and all of that. I think we had it on the Wii. Yeah. Arigato gozaimasu, konbanwa. Konbanwa. Hi. Sugoi Yoshida. Yeah, gun focus, which I guess is easy to do. Yeah, and you can sort of hide and sneak. It's a bit harder, you know, with a sword fighting type battle royale. You basically got to run up to the person, and then it's just like, you know, who can hit each other quicker. The new Star Wars Lego is great. It does look great. It does look great. Hello, Bud. How are you? Oh, the lovely Purple Haze. Lovely to see you, Purple Haze. Do you guys think Stadia need a mascot? You mean like a game, like a Sonic type thing? Well, Stadia wasn't for a joke. It was sort of cartoony Stadia controller with a little smiley face. Call it Stadia, yeah? Wasn't that thing that John Scars was running with? And Grace from Stadia? Not Grace from Stadia. Gracie from Stadia. Yeah, take a shot for every brouhaha. Exactly. That's what I'm going to call it now, right? But basically, Reddit is one big brouhaha. Yeah, it's a brewer of brouhaha. Okay, David. Whenever there's a brouhaha, Reddit should change its name to brouhaha.com. Yeah, brouhaha.com. I'm not sure they did. Because I think we would know about it. But anyway, maybe somebody can find out whether Grime or Little Nightmares got a 4K update. I'm not sure they did, but they look great, to be honest. They look amazing. They look really good. Thank you, Suna. Much appreciated. Is Stadia having problems with the UHD again? I can't turn it on my Chromecast. I'm not sure, although I was playing, when I first played World War Z on the Stadia Plus app, rather than, you know, Stadia, on the upgraded Chrome app, it was saying it was playing at 720p, and I couldn't understand it in the end, and it looked awful. And I was a bit disappointed with it. But in the end, I then played it on Edge. Because I thought I must have like a Chrome app or something that's just, I don't know, using up some bandwidth within Chrome, the Chrome browser or something like that. Anyway, played it on the Edge. Not the Edge. From U2. Played it on his head. No, played on the Edge browser. Microsoft. Anyway, in fairness, and it looked amazing. It looked World War Z looked and played amazing. And I thought, oh, actually, I'm not disappointed with World War Z now. It's very good. So there, yeah. So I can't help you there, Lugo. Sorry. Liam's finding something very amusing. The thing when I go back to the chat, I never know what people are laughing at. Jerry, how are you? Oh, I don't know what the message was now. It's been retracted. There we go. Yes, upset I never visited the Sega arcade in Akihabara. Yeah, Akihabara. I'm not sure. I'm fortunate to have been to Tokyo. I don't know how many times now. 2 or 3. 2, 3. Anyway, it's all a haze. It's all a haze. I can't remember if I went to the Sega arcade. I definitely went to Akihabara, but I don't know whether I went to the Sega arcade. Can't remember. Such a long time ago. It was work trip. So not much time to do, leisure things that weren't related with being entertained by clients, as it were. What's up, Balls for Life? How are you? Oh, I'll have to check out. Is there a Halloween edition? This is my, you're just admiring this is my orange. For those who don't realize, orange is my favorite color. And some of my t-shirts. Have I got an orange one on today? No, I've got my... Yeah, look. Dawn of the Monsters t-shirt on. Yeah, it's my Gojira t-shirt that I did myself called Be More Monster. But yeah, it's my orange G-Shock. Yeah. There's a new arcade chain. What's it called now? One opened in my local town. I took the kids there. They loved it. It's got old school arcade games, Time Splitters, original Pac-Man, Asteroids and all that kind of stuff. Plus it's got all the new stuff as well. It's got, some of it's got like a proper Mario Kart that you sit in, those sort of racer games, but a Mario Kart version, those sort of things. Really cool. And you pay, and it's an all you can eat. So you pay, I don't know, 10 quid or whatever. And then you can just go on everything. Love it. I think it's a new chain opened up in the UK. It's growing. It's growing, Cloud Gamer. I think World War Z looks great. Yeah, it'd be great with 4K, but I quite like it at 1080p, 60 frames per second. It's fine. Looks great on my LG C1. I swear the LG C1 does an amazing job. I don't know, just upscaling, polishing. I don't know, but just games, even on, when I streamed I streamed Sea of Thieves on xCloud and it looked amazing. Streamed on xCloud. But yeah, World War Z looks amazing. So, and there's a hell of a lot of stuff at some moments in World War Z going on. And that can really suck up the resource of the game engine when it's playing. So I don't know what impact, whether they could optimize it for 4K, what impact it would have when the screen is really busy. Because when those zombies come in their hundreds, they come and they're moving at speed. It is amazing. Thank you. That's the game, For Honor. Yes, Lugo's coming in there. Yes, For Honor, exactly. Definitely. It's being rebooted. Interesting. But that's from Kotaku, so not sure about that. I think they did take... Oh, no, it's X-Defiant. They removed the Tom Clancy reference and just call it X-Defiant now, which I think was the right thing. But there we go. Because of all the fans, exactly. X-Defiant, no update, although I know I have got some Stadia friends who are testing it out and are hearing good things. So we should see it. We're coming up to sort of in a couple of months of announcements and stuff like that and releases. So hopefully soon with it, by the summer, I think we could see X Defiant by the summer. It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, they are inviting for playtesting. I know some people have already play tested it. So there we go. Not sure I actually said that to you, but it's always a great day when I get to catch you. Thank you, Purple Haze. That's really sweet. Thank you. Appreciated. Okay, there we are. Chromecast Ultra's been working fine for Jerome. That's good to know, Jerome. So there we go. I forgot who was querying. There we go, Lugo. Yeah, maybe I don't know, just do the normal checks on your network. I nominate Clive to be the Grand Minister. Yeah, the Ministry of Stadia. I think I was going to call the show that, but I'm not sure how many people outside the US get that reference. Minister of Stadia. The Ministry of Stadia. That's a good name for the show. A Stadia show. The Ministry of Stadia. But again, yeah, I'm not sure that many people have outside the US get the reference. Used to be the Ministry of Sound, which was a rave club, massive rave club in London. They had a record label and everything, and they released loads of dance albums and stuff like that. But it's a play on the kind of, Ministry of Defense or whatever like that. But it was the Ministry of Sound. Such a cool concept. Anyway, there we go. Great minds think alike, Anthony. Yeah. I like to have things with a little orange accent on them, I've got a nice pair of orange Converse, which set off usually my Lord Kensal orange logo, and then a little accent of the orange G-Shock, and we're all good. I did have issues with my NVIDIA Shield, which was playing Stadia on that, so I switched back to the CU. Okay. Bye, chat. How are you? Hello. Lego games on Stadia. Yes, so we were talking about that. Thunderful, who is a publisher that have bought some games to Stadia. Not only that, bought an exclusive to Stadia in Wavetail. It was a timed exclusive. Also is launching currently only on Steam at the moment. Lego Brick Tales. So I am speculating it could come to Stadia. Exactly. That's why I've got, nice bit of orange in the Stadia logo. Exactly. Suits me. Thank you for asking there. Anyway, so there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Chat as ever. Always buzzing. Always of interest. Let me just double check that the world hasn't exploded. I'm just checking the Stadia news, ladies and gentlemen. Bear with me. No, everybody just commenting on my post. That's good. That's good. That's what we like to see. Anyway, so there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's the show. Stadia Monday Night Chat, episode 105. Really appreciate you being along for the stream. As ever, it wouldn't be half the show without you guys in chat. And for those of you watching later, that means a lot to me because I become number obsessed and I watch my view figures and I shouldn't do it. I should ignore it. But I can't help myself. So those of you watching a little bit later, I really, really appreciate that as well. As I said, don't forget to hit the likes, subscribe, and all of that. Where's my subscribe button? Yeah, subscribe and all of that. And let us all do this same time, same place, next week, here on the Stadia Monday Night Chat. Thank you. And goodbye.